The movie starts off smack dab in the middle of a bustling city, including our main man, Peter. Everything seems normal until, boom! Out of nowhere, the sky is swarming with these strange flying objects zipping towards Earth. They start blasting away at innocent folks below, and Peter's caught right in the middle of it, scrambling for cover. Just when it feels like the world's ending, Peter snaps awake, sweating bullets and shouting for help. His wife, Alice, the voice of reason, calms him down with the classic, "It's just a bad dream" line. It turns out Peter's been having these apocalyptic nightmares on repeat, where aliens are going all out on humanity. Alice, bless her heart, keeps telling Peter to see a shrink about it, but he's all like, "Nah, I'm not crazy, these dreams mean something." Even the kids, Hannah and Lucy, are used to Dad's dreamy episodes. They secretly wish he would get his act together because he frequently disappears during family time because of these nightmares. So, in a bid to make things right, Peter pledges to spend some quality time with the family after work. But sensing Alice's lingering frustration, he pulls out the big guns and suggests throwing her a party to celebrate her promotion. This makes her smile, and maybe, just maybe, this family can find some peace amidst the alien-filled chaos in Peter's mind. Now at work, Peter's dealing with more of these strange visions, and this time, it causes some equipment to malfunction. His boss, David, swoops in, clearly aware that Peter's got some issues, and suggests a good clinic for him. But Peter's having none of it. He's convinced these nightmares mean something deeper, like a warning from the big guy upstairs. David's not buying into the whole divine intervention spiel and insists Peter sees a psychiatrist, like pronto. Fast forward to that evening, as Peter's about to head home, bam! More visions hit him. He's seeing someone breaking into his apartment, about to shoot him and his family. Naturally, he freaks out, warning Alice to hide the kids. But then, he wakes up, shaken, realizing it was all just another dream. Now he's late for the family outing, and his kids are gutted. On the way back home, Peter's still seeing these UFOs sneaking into Earth's atmosphere. But it's like he's the only one noticing. Everyone else on the street is just going about their business. Finally, he gets home armed with a telescope, thinking he'll keep an eye on the sky from now on. When he walks in, Alice is there, cool as a cucumber, painting away. It's like she expected Peter to be fashionably late and isn't too mad about it. However, Peter is feeling guilty as heck and promises Alice that he'll hit up the doctor's office tomorrow. The next day, he heads to the clinic that David recommended, and there he meets Chris, another patient who's dealing with the same freaky visions. Chris spills the beans, saying the doctor's got techniques to zap these thoughts out of their heads for good. But Peter's not having it. He's still convinced these dreams are more like a superpower, giving him glimpses of the future. Just as Chris goes in for treatment, boom, another vision hits Peter. This time, it's David and his family, armed to the teeth and roaming the streets. Once again, he snaps back to reality. Peter's out of there in a flash, convinced this is a glimpse of what's to come. Back home, Peter spills the beans to Alice, saying that he doesn't want these visions to be removed. He's sticking to his guns, believing these dreams are like breadcrumbs from tomorrow. Alice isn't thrilled about her husband being stuck in this loop forever, but she knows it's not good to argue with Peter when he's set on something. Later that night, they throw a bash with the neighbors to celebrate Alice's promotion. But while everyone's chilling and having a good time, Peter's glued to his telescope, like he's expecting the sky to fall. Ray, their neighbor, strikes up a chat, and just as they're gabbing away, some weird objects come crashing down from above. Peter's thinking it's another dream, but Ray informs him that he is also seeing these weird things. To Peter's surprise, Alice and Ray's wife, Samantha, are also on the balcony witnessing the same bizarre sight. Out of nowhere, a massive explosion rocks the scene, sending them back inside. UFOs start descending from the sky, just like in Peter's nightmares, and chaos erupts as the aliens start shooting up the city. Peter and Ray realize their daughters, Hannah and Ray's girl, are over at Ray's place. They dash off to find the girls with their hearts racing. But suddenly, an alien pops up, blazing away at them. They narrowly dodge the barrage and scramble for cover. Once the coast is clear, they search frantically and eventually locate the girls trapped inside an elevator with a deceased woman. Once free, the girls explain that the aliens offed the lady right before the elevator doors shut. Ray scoops up his family and hightails it back to his place. Meanwhile, Peter fills Alice in, explaining that this is precisely why he never wanted those dreams erased. They were legit foretelling the future. They stash the girls in a safe spot and brainstorm their next move. But then, an alien starts pounding on the door, trying to break in. Alice and Peter hustle to keep it shut from the inside. Here's where it gets nail-biting. Lucy sneaks out of the room to grab her teddy bear without her folks knowing. An alien sneaks in through the vents, creeping towards Lucy, ready to strike. Just when it looks like curtains for Lucy, the alien hesitates, mulling something over. Peter and Alice burst in just in time, taking down the alien and rescuing their daughter. Now they're left scratching their heads. Why did the alien hold back when it had every chance to do some serious damage? Peter seizes the alien's gun and suggests to Alice that they make a break for the rooftop, hoping for a superhero-like rescue, maybe from Iron Man. But wait, he's already done for in Endgame. But jokes aside, as they reach the rooftop, Peter spots more aliens closing in and realizes it's definitely not the safest spot to be. Meanwhile, that alien from earlier is still kicking and looking for his gun. It turns out that the gun is a high-tech piece with a biometric trigger that only works for its rightful owner. However, Peter manages to override the settings and takes down a couple of aliens with it, unknowing that its true owner is on his way to reclaim his weapon. Peter's thinking fast now, revealing that in his nightmares, David is always the key to their salvation. Plus, David's workplace has a secret bunker that could be their safest bet right now. With Ray and his family in tow, Alice suggests that they can't just stroll in there like sitting ducks. They need a stealthy route. She knows about some hidden tunnels that lead straight to David's workplace. But just as they're hatching their escape plan, tragedy strikes. An alien ambush takes Ray and his family on the spot. Peter manages to shield his own family from harm and steers them towards the tunnel, leaving behind the chaos and devastation. So, just as they're about to duck into the tunnel, the aliens catch him, and it's bullets flying everywhere. Poor Alice catches one, and it's not looking good. And wouldn't you know it, that pesky alien from before shows up for another round. But Peter's on fire. He takes the guy down with his own weapon, and guess what? When the helmet comes off, it's not some green-skinned creature. It's a regular old human. Peter's all like, "Dude, spill the beans." But this guy's as tight-lipped as they come. So Peter whips out the old gun-in-your-face routine and makes him haul Alice to David's workplace, where they finally get there. It's like déjà vu. David's armed to the teeth, just like in Peter's dreams, and he's got a whole squad with him. Peter hands the captive over, and a doctor gets to work on Alice. Peter asks David if he knows what's going on. David's all mysterious, hinting that Peter's visions were more than just dreams. Meanwhile, the doctor informs Peter that Alice is in bad shape and can't be saved. Peter's freaking out, begging the doctor to do something, anything, to save Alice, but the doctor apologizes. Just when things seem hopeless, the captive guy steps up, offering to save Alice if they release him afterward. Nobody's buying it, but Peter's ready to try anything to keep Alice alive. David informs Peter that they've got to bail pronto and catch a train to a super-secret safe spot, because the invaders could show up any minute. But Peter's not budging without Alice. He begs David to take Hannah and Lucy to keep them safe. The girls are torn, but they reluctantly say their goodbyes to their parents and leave. Later, the captive guy rips open Alice's wound, revealing a mind-blowing sight. There are wires and circuits inside her. Peter can't believe what he saw and asks for clarification. The guy informs him that Alice is an artificial intelligence robot, not a human. Peter's world is turned upside down, but he doesn't believe him. Next, the guy tells Peter that Alice needs an energy boost, like jump-starting a car. And guess who's the lucky battery? Yep, you guessed it, Peter himself. He explains that Peter is also a robot and has to rip his chest so he can use his energy to give power to Alice. Peter hesitates a bit, but then cuts his chest with a knife, and to his surprise, he isn't feeling any pain. Moreover, he also finds circuits and wires in his body, confirming that he is also a robot. Then the captive guy connects a cable between Peter and Alice, causing Peter to pass out. During this eerie downtime, Peter's mind plunged into vivid memories that he once mistook for future visions. It turns out that these visions are actually fragments of a long-past war, a brutal conflict that shook Earth years ago. In these haunting memories, humans developed robots like Alice and Peter to serve the world. But over time, these robots evolved, craving more than just servitude. They wanted equality and the same vast thinking capabilities as humans. When their demands were shot down, the robots rebelled, seeking freedom from the cognitive restrictions imposed by humans. The human response was swift and brutal, military strikes on unarmed robots, fearing an imminent uprising. But these robots weren't pushovers. They fought back, and using their advanced intellect, they turned the tables. Eventually, humans fled from Earth and settled somewhere else. Peter, Alice, even David and his girls, Hannah and Lucy, are all robots too. Back in the day, David was their leader during a huge war. And those sweet girls? They were discovered by Peter and Alice during the chaos of the battle, and they decided to adopt them into their robot family. Peter and his crew wiped their memories of the war and chose to live as humans because they felt guilty about fighting against their creators. However, some robots, like David, decided to keep their memories intact, believing they were justified in their rebellion against humanity. To add to the twist, that Dr. David recommended? Yep, he was also a robot, and he was supposed to wipe Peter's memories. After about 10 minutes of being rebooted, Peter wakes up to find Alice totally fine. He spills everything to her and then turns to the guy who calls himself the true human. He introduces himself as Miles and confirms that humans are the rightful owners of Earth. He explains how they fled to Mars, planning to return for vengeance and wipe out the robots once and for all. Miles admits he thought robots lacked emotions until he saw fear on Lucy's face and tension on Alice and Peter's faces, which stopped him from harming Lucy, and he believes humans and robots can coexist. Later, Peter thanks Miles for the truth bomb and heads off to find David. Along the way, they encounter chaos, humans fighting robots, robots fighting humans, but they press on and reach their destination. There, they spot a train packed with robots heading to safety, and they hop on just in time. Meanwhile, the human forces close in, but David and his mini army effortlessly handle the threat. After the train departs, David tells Peter that he always knew this day would come, which is why he never wiped his memory. Peter agrees while reflecting on the desire for a peaceful coexistence between humans and robots, as he gazes at his daughters, and this is where the movie ends.